All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the mixed 40 and over section championships captains meeting. We are recording, so I'll send this out. It's been taking my computer a little while to download it, so I'll probably send it out early in the morning to everybody. So if you have questions, please ask them, because there probably are other people who have the same questions who might not be on tonight. And I would like to just make sure everybody gets all the questions answered that they have. I'm going to start off. I'm going to do a quick kind of PowerPoint presentation and then open it up and see where you guys are. I think a lot of you guys have been longtime captains, so might not have as many questions, but I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do that one. Okay. Let's see. All right. Can you guys see slides?
Yes.
Okay. So this first slide is just the championship calendar. I think you guys know we're at the mixed 40 and over sectionals. We've kind of got a long way to go for the rest of the season. I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of you over and over again. If you guys don't have a copy of this, it's on the championship webpage, and I can send it to you as well. So it's the one that was approved by the section league committee last fall. And then from there, we have the national championship schedule. So all of the mixed 40 and overs, the 7-0 and 8-0s are in Surprise, Arizona on hard court at the Surprise Tennis and Racket Complex, November 12th through 14th. The mixed 6-0s and 9-0s are in Orlando at the same time frame, November 12th through the 14th. So you guys will get to go to the national campus if you move on. Oh, hold on. Okay, so the mixed 40 and over sections. So we are July 16th, 17th, and 18th coming up in Eastern Mass, Bass River Woburn Tennis Club in Winchester. They've been really great hosts this year, so I've been really happy working with them. The registration is out. Sorry, I didn't change this verbiage. The link has been sent out, but if you don't have it and you need it, I can get it to you. We're not taking any checks or cash. It's all paid through Stripe and through with a credit card. So if you have any trouble with that, definitely let me know. These are not all the regulations. We do have the championship regulations on the webpage as well, the championship webpage as well. But a couple of things. So we're having, it's a no default championships, which means your team needs to be able to field all 3 lines throughout the weekend, including playoffs. Your lineups, same as always, please turn them in 30 minutes in advance of play. If we're running ahead of schedule, you can be called as early as 30 minutes. So make sure you've got your lineups in and your players are ready and warmed up and ready to go. Switch on the odd numbered games. That's kind of a leftover from the COVID regulations, but that's standard as it was in regular play. Switch after all of them, including 1. And this year at the 40 and over section championship, we will not have officials. So friend of court is our rule of thumb. The same way that you guys play in your local league, the same rules apply. If you have any trouble communicating with your opponents or need anything, please come up to the tournament desk and ask for help. Communications, I think we're kind of, we're worked on this a lot. So before the championships, emails, the championship webpage, we're still working on the championship webpage as well. So if you have any questions about what's on it or what's not on it, feel free to reach out. Right now, we'll go over some of the COVID protocols, but we update you via email if anything changes last minute. During the championship, same thing. Communications can be calls, text, and in person. So please make sure that whoever your site director is has your best phone number to reach you at in case we need to get a hold of you or your co-captain in a hurry. Basic regulations and protocols. The first time you play, please check in prior to the start of your first match. So if your first match isn't until 4 o'clock, you don't need to check in until 3:15. but that's to get your player gifts, to get your scorecards, to get all the things that you need to get your lineups in and on time. After that, we just need your lineups 30 minutes prior so that we can check off all the things we need to do for player eligibility. When you're called to play, all the players must provide a government issued ID, driver's license, something with a picture. So make sure all your players have their wallets on them when they go to check in to go on court. It is a round robin format. The winners advance to the scheduled playoffs, which will be on Sunday. 2 out of 3 regular sets. So we're playing regular scoring. A 10-point super tiebreaker in the event of split sets, and that tiebreaker, if you have a tiebreaker at the end of a set, excuse me, sorry, or to split sets, it's the Komen format. And if you're unfamiliar with that, we can get you the protocols on that as well. Your 10-minute warm-up includes serves. We're going to be pretty strict on that because we want to make sure that everything stays on time. When you send your players out, as they come back in, we need a player from each team, the winning team and the losing team, to come report scores and initial. When all 3 lines have completed, we need the captain from each team to check the scores, make sure you agree with the scores, and then sign the scorecard. So a few reminders, if you guys are watching, if you have players that are watching, please do not communicate with the players on court for any reason. Don't bang on the windows to get their attention. They can't look up at you and ask for water. Those things are all considered coaching. They cannot communicate with you. You cannot communicate with them. Same thing with the players on adjacent courts. If somebody's having a dispute, they can't ask you, hey, how do you do this? Or what would you do this? If you have any issues on your court that you can't resolve, please come up to the tournament desk without communicating with any teammates. Any of your teammates that are in the gallery. That's the word. Club and COVID protocols as of today. In Eastern Mass, for fully vaccinated players and visitors, you don't need to wear a mask at any time. You're welcome to wear a mask if you would like to. Please be aware of social distancing. It seemed a lot like everybody was kind of keeping in their own pods, so be a little bit careful of that. Full vending and drink purchases may or may not be available. It typically has been water and some other things. So please have your players come prepared and have them have plenty of water with them, their towels, all those things in their bags. The restrooms and the showers are open in the clubs, and everything's been running fairly, almost back to normal, you guys, almost back to normal. So, so that's it for my little presentation. Does anybody have any other questions that I didn't answer?
I have a question in regards to you had changed the time last night on some of the matches at 40 plus 8-0, even though my flight wasn't impacted with any change with the team dropping out. And, I'm having trouble trying to field the third line. I'm still trying to figure it out because I had coordinated with multiple captains on shared players and had it all figured out. And then with your change last night, I'm at full scramble again because players committed to other teams. And I had emailed and voicemailed about it earlier today. So I'm not sure what I should do at this point.
Yeah, those, when we have that team drop out at the last minute, it kind of causes a lot of chaos for everybody. And we're really trying to keep those teams in. It was really unfortunate that they had to, but the new times are the times that stand. But I'll look at it again tonight and in the morning. Are you free? Can I call you in the morning? Offline?
Yes, that works. Okay. Yeah, I'm Chris Marcel. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Amy, yeah, 7-point tiebreaker at 6-all. Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
One thing my players were a little disappointed is about no t-shirt this year and no party for the 18 sectionals. Is anything like that's gonna come back, or it's just gone?
You know, a lot of that is going to have to do with funding in the future. We still don't have our budget at the section. A lot of it depends on US Open and some other things. Those budget lines were all cut. So there won't be any banquets or t-shirts this year for this year's sectionals or districts at all. But we're going to revisit in the fall and see what we need to do for championship year 2022.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that because remember, it's a big deal for them.
Yeah, I know.
Really want that, but
Okay.
Thank
No,
you.
that's really great feedback because, you know, you guys know I'm new, so some of these things I don't know. And if if I don't hear it, then it's hard for me to know how to kind of push in the future.
Oh, please do so.
Yeah, the 7-point tiebreaker is also Komen style. Yeah.
6-0 didn't change anything, right? Because I didn't receive any email.
No, 7-0s and 8-0s were the only ones that got impacted by the teams dropping out.
Oh,
Yeah, we found the 18 districts last week. It seems like, you know, everybody wants to play so much and everybody's been playing so much, but I think the rosters are a little thin still from because of COVID. And we had a few players get hurt, and there were just some last minute unexpected things that were really unfortunate. So
I have a question, Christy. I have right, you know, I get your no default, but I am right at, I got, you know, 3 guys and 3 girls.
Yeah.
Playing. So like, I'm just saying, like Saturday morning, someone gets hurt, I probably default Saturday afternoon. We were so thin and COVID and whatever, and we didn't have a lot of players. I mean, like, did this team that dropped out, did they have penalties against them?
So this year only, the section league committee has decided to not have any penalties against anybody for last minute dropouts. There are, written in the championship regulations, there typically is a $200 fee, and then sanctions can happen. But because of COVID, they have waived all of that, trying to just make it.
No, that's fine. I just, like I said, I was just, because I was nervous about, you know, and then like, you know, I was debating because like teams like, hey, I want to go. I'm like, yeah, but everyone needs to play.
Yeah.
Because like we don't have very many, and we share, you know.
Yeah.
I probably should have put in too, like, to get like we play in like the same flights at the same times, our 7-0 and 8-0, and we share so many players.
Yes, and
7-0 and 8-0.
I don't think you're alone in that.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to, you know, I look at all the special requests that come in, and unless I can accommodate all of the special requests, I have to do a purely random schedule, because I can't give a unfair advantage to anybody. So, you know, my goal, I think, for 2022 is to try to figure out a way to help captains and players have maybe a little bit deeper roster when it comes to the championships, so that there are fewer players shared, and more players that are actually available to come to the championship season. So not exactly sure what that looks like, but I would really like to kind of work on that so it makes it a little less stressful for you guys.
And I think doing things ahead of time will help us too, because this year seems like everything was done last minute, to be honest to you.
To do what, Maricela?
Send these schedules and everything ahead of time, like 1 month ahead or 2 months if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible, but that will help a lot.
Well, right now, the way it's set up is local leagues have to finish 14 days in advance of the championship date. So and some of them run right up until that 14-day period. So until they're finished all across the section and I get confirmation, I can't even really start to build a schedule. So it would never come any earlier than 13 days. And it takes me usually longer to get confirmations from everybody.
Is this new? Because I remember last year we received everything ahead of time. No,
I would say,
Last year was Kobe, the previous one.
I would
I-
say, having been at this Maricela for 20 years, I would say it's about the same time. It's, there's not a significant difference. Now, if you go back prior to that, when there was lower volume, there were some things that were done much farther in advance. There is a downside to doing that, but we can look at it. Let me just give you one data point. We know that having 14 flights is a nice format. Christie sent out invitations to 15 different teams for 3 wild cards, and she got 0 acceptances.
Wow, really?
So, there are a lot of challenges going on right now. So we appreciate the feedback, and we've got to kind of balance things on, how do we, put together a schedule that works.
I understand.
Hey, last question, Christy. You mentioned 7:00 flight times or 7:00 match, or someone mentioned 7:00 times changed. Is that true? I saw the 8:00. Like,
Here's what happened on that. I'm sorry, Christy, you
No,
want
no,
to?
go ahead, Pete, go ahead.
I mean, basically, someone dropped out, and rather than redo everything, all she did was make those blanks. So
well,
if
I know.
anything,
Okay. So
if
7:00
anything, it
times.
provided more space, not less.
Because I saw the flight changes for the 8:00 changed. Did the time of the matches? I didn't see something that said 7:00 matches changed.
Yeah, if it's easy to just lift out the team and leave everything, I did it. But in the cases with this and in some cases in the past, it just hasn't been.
I guess maybe could you send me whatever you have for a current 7:00 schedule?
Sure.
Because I definitely got your email, because I'm looking at it right now while I'm talking to you. And the email I got only had 8.0 flight changes. So like I would have, if my 7:00 teams changed, I would have showed up at the whatever time you sent out a week ago.
Okay. Yeah, I will send that out tonight.
That might have changed before you sent it out. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I would say that we got the schedules way ahead of time, and the notice about the when we would be playing, and so we could tell our players. So it's actually from my experience, has been better than 2 or 3 years ago. So I didn't have an issue with that at all. I think you did a great job given the circumstances.
Good job, Christy. Thank you,
you.
Jerome.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It is a funny little puzzle to start putting together. It's been kind of a little bit of a learning curve for me. So.
And I think if it goes out too early, with the team dropped out, it's going to be a lot of changes, so to try to send it as current as possible, if, sending a little bit later because of the dropouts.
And one thing, Chester, I would say, I've talked to a couple of people that have had difficulty last weekend because of, people playing on multiple teams. And, it really is, they're thinking through what do they want to do at the beginning of the league year to, perhaps provide a little more flexibility for themselves. I mean, they've seen some of the
It's
people
usually
I've
not
talked
an
to-
issue. It's usually not an issue. We usually, the last couple of years, our team had like 3 teams at each level. but like no one would play this year because of COVID. And like I'm in Keene. Now, don't forget New Hampshire, the average age of the 18 and over league is 56. So, I'm 48 years old. I'm the youngest player at my club.
And you look fine.
There you go. So I think it was just a 1 year thing, Peter. Like usually I have, 10 women and 10 men on our teams. And if all 10 can't go to a championship, you're fine. But like we played, you can look at the roster on my 7-0 team. I think we only had 9 players on the team total. So.
Yeah, Christy probably has, her theory on some of this stuff is that not only the COVID thing, which meant fewer people, and then, tennis starts up later and people are playing more, and, we're getting fewer people playing more, and consequently, we're also getting more injuries.
Like I was just a little nervous. Like I saw, I'm like, well, maybe I should have dropped out.
We're
I didn't
looking
want
forward to seeing you.
All right, no, that's fine. We're looking forward to playing, and we'll be fine.
Good.
I wonder with wild cards, if you were, if there's other playoffs still coming up with seasons still ending, like the adult league, if you put a message out now about potential wild card spots that, if the team sort of, they only have like 1 or 2 matches left. But if they knew it was like a slight possibility, just to get your 4-team flights for the adult. I know we're talking about mixed and that's all done, but.
No, but I think, Amy, you're really 100% right in that. And a lot of the feedback I've gotten is that they didn't know that they were even in the running. And so they've got family vacations, and which completely makes sense. So now the way that we choose our wild cards is we look at the percentage of games won across everybody in the section. And so you're right. I think for the adult leagues, we'll start looking a little earlier and kind of putting some feelers out there and seeing what we have. I do know especially with the sectionals, the teams that had 3-team flights, it's a long way to go to play a couple of matches. And I totally understand that. But in some cases, we had 6 teams, so we didn't really have a ton of choices. So I'm trying to really think about it and get the feedback. The other thing you guys could really help me with too, and Pete and I talk about this a little bit, is the process for which we do our official invitations. In the past, the section has sent out an email that says, please reply to this email if you're coming or not. And what happens is you get 400 emails in your inbox. And I find that it makes me a little nervous, like I'm going to miss somebody. And so the ones, I think for the 40s, I just sent out an email and said, if you're not coming or if things have changed, let me know. But I'm not sure that worked either. So I'm happy for anything that you guys as captains think would be easier, more efficient, a better way for you to communicate with me and me to make sure that you're getting my emails.
Yeah, I think, Christy, that's one thing probably we could do right after the season's over for us. I could tell you right away if we have a team for the sectionals or districts or whatever it is, and maybe we could sign up on the website, on the USTA website, right there, and say yes, we committed, we'll have enough people, and it doesn't take. It wouldn't have to be, just a week before or 15 days before it. We could probably do it pretty early, so you would be able to see very quickly that we have a team that can be there.
Or just a Google form and make all the teams and every flight say yes or no. And just, we haven't heard from you. And then that way, if there's a top team for some reason you haven't heard from, to follow up with them. I mean, that would be weird. I mean, I would think every captain gets all of the USTA emails, but maybe a Google form.
Yeah, we've kind of played around with like a little jot form survey that's just a super yes, no, super quick. We've talked about doing that. So try a few other things. We'll try that and we'll see if that works. And see what's best, and then we'll kind of make it better as we go along.
And I think as well for us as a captain, if we know the team might qualify and we know that we have no many people, that's the time to add more people because we know at least they need to play 2 matches. So that's when you start adding more to your roster.
Yeah, I'm ready for regular long seasons next year. Normal time frame, plenty of matches, lots of play opportunity, much less crazy.
I just have one quick question. I came a little late. I just got home from work, but anyway, somebody sent a link for an updated schedule and I just clicked on it and I saw that flight 3 in the 7-0 was reduced to 3 teams.
Yes, that's correct.
So the entry fee is going to be refunded for the extra because we had played for 3 matches and now we only have 2.
You should, yes, I processed the refunds this morning.
Okay.
So I think it said it takes like 3 to 5 business days.
Okay.
So
And I apologize if there was an email that updated the schedule. I did not see that.
Okay, there is an update to the schedule, and I think actually Amy put it in the chat if you want to click on it, but
I did. That's how I just saw it.
gotcha.
But I did not get an email into my
Oh.
personal email account, but I do have it now. I just checked while,
Okay.
You were discussing other stuff. So we have 2 matches and done.
Yes. So
Okay.
but like I said, if you haven't gotten your refund and you haven't seen it in 3 to 5 business days, please let me know.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I have the opposite problem now. I have to make sure that everybody who has booked a hotel up there will get a match to play. So I saw that some of the other flights remained at 5 teams.
No, 4.
No.
4? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. What else, you guys? What else is happening? Anything?
No, I'll just repeat. You guys do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to the weekend.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we had a really great last couple of weekends were really a lot of fun. There was some really great tennis. I think the finals of we were at Ludlow, and the 7-0s, 8-0s, and 9-0s, I think came down to the third set tiebreaker in the final line, and like line 3 of all 3 matches for the winner. I mean, it was crazy. It was so crazy.
I sort of have a philosophical question for USTA. You don't have to respond right now, but it's something I've been thinking about. We're at districts, and I noticed there's a lot of mind games about who goes to D1, D2, D3. So a lot of teams put their best team at D3, so they get kind of a guaranteed win, if you will. And then they put their weaker team at D1 as a sacrifice, and that sort of thing. And I find it a bit tiresome. I tend to put my best players in D1, and then, and I wonder if USTA has a philosophy about that. Is there any way, if you had, you look at dynamic rating or whatever it is, and you say you have to put your best players in the first position, or if you're happy with the way it's going right now? I don't mind playing mind games, and I'm not telling the other captains anything about what I'm going to do this weekend, but I'm just wondering if it kind of makes things when we play a D3 and it's at 7-0 and it's clear both the lady and the guy are 4-0s, and they should not really be playing D3 at 3-5 if that's legitimate, or if it's something you want to change in the future. Just a question about the way things are run.
I would tell you, Jerome, that's a conversation every year. We've at the national level, looked at different ways to handle it, and the general what, it's like you could look at points per position, and have number one position with more points, and so it has been looked at, but I think there hasn't been a consensus up to now at the national level.
Is that something that's done at high school? I'm not familiar with high school or college, how they do it. They do it.
I coached college for
kids.
15 years, and yeah, it's done at all levels.
Okay.
You'd walk by and you'd see the scorebook from someone else, and you're like, gee, that kid played number 2 last week, and he's playing number 6 today.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So, okay, great. Yeah. Were you cheating then, or are you cheating now?
It's particularly true at 18 and over, when you have young kids who are self-rated 3.0 or 3.5, and they should and next season they're going to play easily 4.0. So it's kind of spoils it a little bit, in my opinion. But
No.
that's
So
part of the way
stacking
it's
the
done.
courts, the points per position does help a lot, because we are in Connecticut, we're on the New York border, and Westchester and Putnam counties do points per position. So you will not find D3 players on D1.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good idea.
Oh, there you go. How do we make that happen, Christy, next year?
Well,
That
that
would
is,
be a local league, decision, and someone would have to submit a regulation change proposal.
Huh. All right. All right. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but I vote we're done.
you guys need to get on with your night. Sounds good. Does anybody have any other questions or anything? I don't want to kick you off if you have questions.
Oh, Christy, I'm so sorry I joined so late, but I was wondering if anybody talked about the waivers for the COVID people to be able to play.
So we actually didn't discuss it on this call. That was all done by committee. And the committee has, they are the ones that discussed it and then either approved them or denied them. So if you haven't heard from them, let me know and I can kind of poke them a little bit, but that was all done by the section lead committee.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not for the mixed, but for the women's, we had a waiver denied where we didn't break the state laws and having a player transfer over to play in a match, but other teams broke state laws and allowed that to happen. So they're granted those players to play, and our team is not able to have the persons that followed state laws not play because the committee decided, no, you had too many people available.
I will definitely take that feedback to them. They're going to do a report on it at the next meeting. And I've kind of got a little collection of feedback that's going to go to them so that we can do, so we can kind of try to figure out, what processes need to be in place if there's ever another time that we do waivers. This was such a specialty thing because of COVID. I don't know that they would ever do a waiver process in the future, but I will definitely let them know.
Yeah, and again, they're rewarding people for breaking state laws. Okay.
Actually, in my case, they just took out my player. So my player was not able even to be in my roster anymore because she was from New Hampshire. So I'm not sure what waiver are you guys talking about.
But there was a waiver application process before July 5th that was available for people who had played one match, but because of COVID, were unable to play a second match to qualify to go to districts or sectionals. They've closed the application process at this point, though. All right. Anything else, anybody we can answer for you?
Are the captains going to have any gifts or nothing again?
We have player gifts and then and of course we have the prizes for the champions and the finalists. We're trying to make sure that everybody on the roster gets a player gift and everybody on the roster gets the champion or the finalist, so you don't have to pick and choose who gets what. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you go. You guys all have my email, so feel free to reach out if you need anything. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank
Same
you.
to Thanks.
Thank you.